Secretary, thank you so much for joining us. How will the Build Back Better plan enable for the United States to be at the forefront of global investment for products to be made here in the United States and give back America its competitive advantage?
Good morning, Kevin. Thank you for having me. That, of course, is the key question, and that's a big component of the overall $2 trillion spend. The president proposes $50 billion investment in supply chain manufacturing of critical supplies, pharmaceuticals, core minerals, technologies, batteries. Another $50 billion for semiconductor development, which is a critical area, as you know, and a number of other initiatives for investments in job training, apprenticeships, basic research. You know, if you talk to any advanced manufacturer, they will tell you the fact that America has lagged in basic research and development has really hindered the industry. So there are clear elements of the plan specifically intended to boost American competitiveness. And as you say, specifically intended to supercharge our advanced manufacturing in critical areas. Areas, by the way, that are necessary for economic security, but also national security.
I want to go right to that point, Secretary Raimondo, specifically on protecting the U.S. supply chains for the microchip manufacturing. That has been something that President Biden, he has issued executive orders on, and he's drawn the comparison to better protecting the supply chains against China, for example. What would this plan do to diversify supply chains, invest in supply chains for the microchip manufacturing particularly?
Yeah, great question. So, look, microchips, semiconductor chips are literally the building blocks of our future economy. As we experience this data and digital revolution, semiconductors underpin so much of the new technology where we'll be seeing a lot of job creation, artificial intelligence, data technologies, quantum computing, and the like. And over the past 20 years, America has, we've seen a decline in, our global production of semiconductors. And that, of course, makes us vulnerable. At the same time, China is surging forward with major investments. So what this plan calls for is broad investments to, build manufacturing operations in America, which is what we need to do. Increase research and development so we can stay at the bleeding edge of this technology, investments in workforce. Even if we magically waved a magic wand and had new foundries in America tomorrow, we don't necessarily have the trained workforce here in America to operate in those foundries. It's very technical, as you say.
Let me follow up on that, because in your previous post as the governor of Rhode Island, you really initiated several workforce retraining programs. I mean, for folks in the post-pandemic economy who are coming back to industries that have been dramatically shaken, how important is workforce retraining, not just for young people, but for mid-career people, especially in these new and emerging industry technologies?
Vitally important. We cannot compete without massive investments in job training, apprenticeships, community colleges, and even, especially and importantly, STEM education in our K through 12 system. You put your finger on something that I did a lot of work on as governor, and that we absolutely have to work on is mid-career training. COVID has accelerated some of the trends that we had already been seeing in the economy, like the decline of brick and mortar retail, which honestly is pretty scary for a lot of, lower skill folks, maybe who've spent their whole career in brick and mortar retail. We have to be there for them, Kevin. We have to help those people get retrained for jobs of today and tomorrow. So in the package the president proposes, he calls for a doubling of apprenticeship programs. That isn't just, young kids coming out of high school. That's, people like me, 49, 50-year-old women who maybe have been doing something their whole career and they have to start over. If they have the courage, my view is, if you have the courage mid-career to take the risk on getting trained in a new job, then we need to be there for you. with high quality, affordable, or free training programs that lead to a job. And as Commerce Secretary, that is going to be my component. Business has to commit to hiring folks so the training leads to a job.
I got two more questions for you, so I want to keep it quick. Just in particular about the bipartisanship. There are many elements that we've just spoken about that are truly, when I interview Republicans and Democrats, they do agree on it. But there are some other divisive issues, like raising taxes, for example, that have been controversial for Republicans. They say that they don't want to do it and that that's a non-starter. Can you still accomplish elements of this proposal, even if other parts, like raising taxes, don't get done?
Yes. Look, I think we cannot let the perfect be the enemy of the good. A disastrous outcome is that we don't get anything done. These are delayed investments that we need to get to the business of making. But the president's been clear. There's room for compromise. He wants us to move quickly and get done what we can get done, rather than waiting to see if we can get the whole package done at once. So yes, this is the answer to your question.
And then finally, just last question on tariffs pertaining to metals and aluminums. Just globally, the previous administration had issued them, of course, against China and other countries as well. Do they need to be removed or tweaked in the near or short term in order to maximize the potential of the Build Back Better plan?
So we are in the administration, directed by the president, to do a whole of government review of our strategy as it relates to China. But I will simply say this: those tariffs have worked insofar as they have leveled the playing field for American producers of steel and aluminum. And that's what they were intended to do. So I'm not saying that they're perfect. They've created other challenges. But the fact of the matter is, China doesn't play fair. They'll do whatever it takes. And we need to use the tools in our toolbox to level the playing field so American workers have a shot.